Hey, my friends, and welcome to another inspiring episode of Oh, Jackiee Oh. I am your host, Jackiee Oh. Today, we're diving into the world of PR, of public relations, media, and personal growth with a powerhouse in this industry, Deidre Gaskin. Deidre is a trailblazing publicist, entrepreneur, and media maven who has made her mark as the founder and senior publicist of MayLee Media, and also the creator of the dynamic PR platform, It's Just PR. If you've ever wondered how to get your brand noticed, land media placements, or break into the world of PR, then this episode is for you. Hey, Deidre, how are you today?
Hi, that was an awesome intro. I feel special.
Thank you. How's your new year going so far?
It's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
You've built a reputable career in PR and media.
hmm
Can you share with us, like, what initially drew you to this industry?
Yeah, so background, I've always had a passion for helping others and just winning at life. So before I was a publicist, before I was a professional, I played ball and I ran track at the college level. And I've always had a passion for like winning, right? And then even as a child, I would be the one with the camcorder, ooh, definitely telling my age, but camcorder, recording my family in their, stupid moments. So I've always had a passion for winning and storytelling. So about time I got to Georgia State, the real GSU, I looked
Okay.
into what is PR? Like, how are these athletes getting on these red carpets? How are they in these magazine placements? Like, what are they doing, like, beyond the game? So I just researched, and it's mainly their publicists getting them, this access to television interviews and access to events and things like that. So I was like, I want to do that because once my sports career ended, I kind of want to stay connected to it. So I
Mhm.
researched what a publicist was, and I just been going strong ever since then.
Okay, so you mentioned you went to GSU.
Yes.
Was that something that you always wanted to do, public relations, or is it something that
No,
you just kind of
no.
went?
I didn't even know what PR was until I got to Georgia State. But I've
Okay.
always had a passion for media. Like, I've always had a passion, even as a child, one of my biggest dreams is to produce a feature film. Like Spike Lee, Gina Prince Bottlewood, John Singleton, Tyler Perry. I've always seen them tell stories of Black, families. So I want to be
Hmm.
one of those because my family, I feel like we could really win a lot of money with our stories. So I've always wanted to put, that into the atmosphere. So I've always had a passion for media. Didn't really know what PR was until I got to Georgia State, which is, it's the same. It's storytelling. It's telling your story. So that's pretty much how I got into that.
You threw some big names out there, so those are some big names to
Yeah,
follow, right?
yeah,
Like those are
yeah.
some inspiring people to follow right there.
Mhm.
You've worked with so many brands and entrepreneurs. What are some common misconceptions people have about PR?
I think I guess now in 2025 that just because you have a following, you don't need PR, or just because you're not a celebrity, you don't need PR. And this is just a personal secret for me. Some of my highest paying clients were unknown. So
So
yeah.
people do feel like you need a if you are a celebrity, you need a PR. Like people, you don't have to be a celebrity to need a PR.
Mm-mm.
Anybody can explain that a little bit further for
So
us.
if you
Like,
have a story, you have a brand, you need public relations. Okay. So Bill Gates said it best. If I had $1 left, I spend it on PR because public relations is not just a fly by night. It's not just a one time thing. It's one of those key elements in your marketing plan to keep you relevant and to keep you paid essentially, because if you're not known and you're not out there, how can people support you? Right. So no,
right.
you don't have to be a celebrity to have a publicist. You just need a story, a newsworthy story, and a brand. I've worked with entrepreneurs. I've worked with beauty brands. I've worked with pastors, getting their names out there. So no, you don't have to be a celebrity at all.
I was listening to an interview recently. Akon, he was talking to someone. He said that if you are an artist, you need a PR. The PR, your PR is the most important person that you could work with in your career as an artist.
hmm
So do you think that's
Yes, I 100% agree because When you are an artist and you're doing music, and I think with social media it helps out a lot. But if you don't have that person behind you, contacting the DJs, contacting the radio stations, getting you the interviews, getting you access to certain events, then you're really just another number, right? So having
Right.
a public relations person in your vicinity, on your team, sets you apart from your competition, right? You can have a manager; they're responsible for getting the deals and getting you, the gigs. But what happens after that? Where's the notoriety? Where's the newsworthy stories? Where's the exposure piece of that? Where's the visibility of that? And you're only as
Right.
good as your last event. You're only as good as your last press hit. You're only as good as your last hit. So having that publicist in
Yeah.
place, I definitely agree with him, is definitely necessary.
So, with that being said, how do you help clients like elevate their brands and gain media exposure?
Yeah, so first of all, we have to be realistic, right? Because not everybody's going to get featured in Forbes tomorrow. That's just not going to happen. But we have to realize where you are in your process in terms of your business. Now, if you're just starting out, it's very important to have a publicist in place. I don't think communications, marketing, and PR, that should be an afterthought. So my job is to get you that media placement. My job is to get you. Shh, sorry, I have a new baby. My job
It's
is to get
okay.
you that media placement. My job is to get you in front of those key decision makers. My job is to get you access to certain events so that way people know who you are and they continue to know who you are. But it all depends on your goals. Some people have, retainers. Like they work with a publicist month to month. Some people have just a project. Let's say you're launching your podcast and you're doing an event for it. You probably just want a
Mhm.
publicist just to capture the essence of the event and hire media attention just to garner press for that event. So it all depends on your goals.
I was at an event recently and someone said, how do you know if you can afford a publicist? And then someone said, if you have to ask that question, then
You can't afford.
you can you can't afford a
Yeah,
publicist.
publicists, I will say this because I can't speak for everybody. Really good publicists are not cheap, right?
Yeah.
If you are wanting to be like Beyonce, you want to be like Michael Jordan, you're gonna have to come up off some money, okay? And what happens a lot of times is people want this grand campaign. They want this Rolls Royce of a PR person. They want this Rolls Royce of a campaign, but you got a Hyundai budget. It doesn't work
Uh,
like that. So unfortunately, you have to get in where you fit in. So for those who can't afford PR, invest in consulting. Consult with a PR person. There's a lot of things now you can do it yourself, but what happens is you kind of take yourself and you're putting yourself in the brand and you're putting yourself in the business instead of honing in on your craft or whatever your service is. Now you have to focus on doing your own PR. And that works only for a certain amount of time until you become hands off. Like Beyonce is not doing her own press. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan's not doing his own press. Cardi B's not doing her own press. Obama's not doing his own press. Of course, they can call somebody and do it themselves, but they don't have time for that because they're working on what they need to work on and they're trusting the professionals to handle their brand. Does that make sense?
right. Yeah, it makes a
Okay.
lot of sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, that's why you hire a PR person, to get you to that next level.
Right, right. It's just like in the
Right.
courtroom. If you want to win your case, you're going to hire the best lawyer there is. So if you
Yes.
want to build your brand and you want to create a brand that's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, like you're going to hire the best publicist there is, right? You're not going to do this DIY approach. It doesn't really get you far. It gives you a start, but it doesn't give you far.
Right. So what's the most rewarding part of your work and what challenges have you faced, or overcome in the industry?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding part for me is when I get that press hit that me and that client has been, dreaming of, like trying to get in certain publications, or let's say that they launch an event. This is their first time hiring a publicist. They never had any media attention, and now they have all this media attention. And they never knew they could do it because they trusted their publicist. Those type of moments when my clients are successful, I feel like I am successful. Now the challenges that
Mhm.
come with that, again, people can't afford PR, or they don't really take it seriously. Like I said, PR is not an accessory. It's something that you really, really, really need if you want to go far in your brand or your business. And so for me, that's kind of the challenging part. And then also with
So
the
you
era,
said that PR is You said it's not necessary to go far in your business.
No, it is. If you want to go
Okay.
far, you definitely need PR. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is a lot of times people don't think they need PR because of social
Okay.
media. Now, social media is a great tool. I mean, I encourage anybody who's, somebody, you definitely want to have a digital footprint. But it is foolish to depend on an app you do not own. So even with the recent TikTok bans, I can't tell you how many people was like, oh my God, panicking. You didn't own the app. You didn't monetize it correctly. You didn't really utilize it correctly. If all of my social media disappears today, people can still reach out to me. Hence why we're doing this interview, because I'm not really on social media like that. But I built a brand outside of an app so people can find me. And that's what I feel like more people need to talk about. Social media is great, don't get me wrong, but it's foolish to depend on it just solely to run your business.
Is social media giving people a unrealistic
It is.
like
It is.
it's
It is, because they only use that. They don't know how to create their email marketing. They don't know how to publicize themselves off an app. They don't know how to get beyond the keyboard. You know what I mean? Get beyond the app. So I think social media is a great tool, but it just all depends on how you use it. And I think a great example of that is when Nene Leakes, when she arrived to the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise. She doesn't have to come back. She's built a platform on social media and off social media. Right? Cardi B, same thing. She's built a platform on and off social media. So it just all depends on how bad you want it. You know what I mean? And they have PR people in place. They have a team in place. They're not doing this just solely by themselves.
And you mentioned that you're not on social media that much. By you being a publicist, explain that. Like, how can people like build their brand outside of
Yeah.
social media? Because people have become so dependent on
Depending
social
on it.
media, and we saw with TikTok, like everybody was scrambling trying to figure out what to do next. And one thing that you should do is basically build your brand on social media, but outside of social media as well.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So for me, my business pages are still up, but my personal pages are not. And if you really do your research on a lot of great publicists, they're not really active on social media, but their clients are. Their business page is really activated. So for me, I utilize platforms that make sense for me. Being on Twitter, making sure I do have a digital presence, but being on Instagram doesn't really make sense for me personally. My business page is on there. I love LinkedIn. I've connected with some great people. I've literally raised over 6 figures just by creating relationships with people, CMOs on LinkedIn. So it just
Oh.
all depends on the platform. And then the way to
Mm-hmm.
utilize it is send them to your email, right? And I try to tell one client this: having a following is fine, going viral is fine, but how can you stay connected to those people? People can follow you and forget about you the next day. They can like a post and forget about you the next day. But if I get your email, that means it's coming directly to your phone and you can hear from me. So email marketing also needs to be included in your social media marketing, because once those people connect with you online, you want to keep them hooked.
Yeah, building the email list is
Yes.
important, right?
Yes. Email is one of the most things that it's preferred because everybody's online, right? So people want to basically build a platform to where you can stay in touch with them, right? So email marketing is the way to do that. I'm sorry.
And Deidre is a new mom, y'all. So if you
Yes.
hear
I'm
little baby in the
sorry.
background,
Baby
we
TJ.
apologize in advance.
Yeah.
But how easy or hard is it for someone to build a PR that's noticeable as you have built? How easy is it or hard for someone to build that?
Meaning build a PR brand or having
Yes,
like publicists on their team.
a
Like,
PR firm, a PR
oh,
firm.
building a PR firm is definitely hard, because if you're really passionate about what you want to do and you really, really want to make some real money, you got to be serious. Real bosses and real people are not going to hire amateurs, right? Because I've been around 6 figure earners and millionaires. They don't really spend their money like in terms of hiring publicists. They don't really spend it all willy nilly. They want to be able to trust you. So they're not going to give me $5,000 and I don't know what I'm doing. So first of all, know what you're doing. Know what your job entails. If you just have a lot of followers on social media and you just in the mix, you're not a publicist. You're just a social. There's a big difference because that's what people think PR is. Oh, you're just going to parties and red carpet. No, that's just the icing on the cake. Then also, I think that you should have contacts. That's what PR is. It's public relations, relating to the public. If I don't have any contacts in the industry, I've never worked with anybody, what do I look like trying to build a PR firm and I don't have any contacts? People really hire us because of our relationships. Right? So if you don't have any contacts, then you don't need to start your own business. Now, I will say that maybe you should intern or try to work under somebody else, and maybe build your business that way. But trying to come out the gate, and nobody cares about your degree. Okay? You trying to come out the gate, oh, you just graduated, you have a bachelor's in PR, but what else? You don't have no experience, you don't have no type of expertise. You just saying you got a degree and now you want to start your own PR firm. No, you need to get some experience under your belt so I know what you're doing before I can hire you. But a lot of times that's what people do. I think just in entrepreneurship period, we get these degrees or we get these little certifications online and now we think we're a boss and we want to run a business. But the reality is you don't know what you're doing because you ain't got the experience behind you.
And it's not that easy to run a business.
It's not. I can make $5,000 a day and make $5 tomorrow. It's not that easy. And I wish people would really talk about that more.
Exactly. I think social media has given people like unrealistic goals, and they look at people on social media and they feel like just because this person is doing something that they can do it as well. But it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of hard work.
You don't want to keep looking at everybody else's stuff. And I tell people this too, like you don't want to keep looking online at what somebody else is doing and how they got their followers. Because number one, you don't know how they got it. Number two, they could be living a completely different life. I know somebody right now that has over 1 million followers sleeping in their car. You don't know what people are going through. I know somebody right now that literally started with like 4,000 followers and has over 400,000 followers because they dive in witchcraft. They got the enemy working on their behalf. So everything you think is a blessing, it ain't really from God. And you trying to monitor this person or trying to imitate this person, but they doing it out of the will of God. You know what I mean? Like they ain't even really doing it the right way. So now you're thinking they blessing, but what you don't understand is God is allowing them to operate this way because eventually it's going to be cursed. That's what the Bible says. For eventually they're going to be cut down. So you can't be looking at everybody else thinking that the grass is green on the other side. You better water yours because you don't know how they got their stuff.
Focus on you. I always say that. And you have a pretty impressive background as well. You know, Power 30, you were in Roll It Out magazine, Control magazine, Voyage ATL. Like you can go on and on. You got it going on over there.
You know, I try. You know, I think that it's important, especially as an entrepreneur, to make sure that you have your thought leadership out there. So when people interview me, it's for this reason, so people can know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I'm good at this and I want to educate people. So even though I've been featured in, you know, these publications and Media Magazine and all that stuff, I don't want to overshadow the fact that I'm working on trying to do this for my clients too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely am a thought leader in my field because this is over 12 years in. You know what I mean? Like I'm not no pop-up publicist. I'm not no microwave publicist. I've been doing this for a very long time.
Okay, I heard that. So what's one big name person that we may know that you've worked with in the industry?
Oh God. Everybody knows the Harlem Globetrotters, the basketball team. Everybody knows the wonderful Cheryl Swoops, WNBA, Sean Williams from the Lakers. Oh my God, WeTV. Everybody knows BET. I mean, the list can go on and on. Jesus, everybody knows like the celebrity hairstylist, the hair diagram with bold hold. I mean, good gracious. I mean, I've worked with some amazing people. Everybody knows 702, Mila Williams. Where my girls at? From the front to back. You know, everybody, you know, I've really worked with a lot of great people. 1K who signed to Lecrae's record label. So I worked with some great people. I've worked with some great brands. Hewlett Packard, Flexi Spot, which is an ergonomic product company, like with standing desks and things like. It's just not limited. PR is not limited to people. It's a brand. It's a business. So yeah.
So congratulations on being a mom. We hear the baby. Congratulations on
Yeah,
being
he
a
tried
new
to get his
mom.
15 minutes of fame, but thank
I
you.
hear him in the background. How has motherhood changed your outlook on life and your career?
I think motherhood has caused me to slow down a lot. Like
Mm-hmm.
even now, I don't really focus too much on my industry. I probably do things like this, or I probably educate or consult. But I can't
Mm-hmm.
tell you the last time I went on a red carpet because I want to be home with him because they grow so fast. Like he'll be 1 in a month. And I feel like I was
Mm-hmm.
just pregnant with him. And then he is
Right.
our rainbow baby. So we lost our first one. He's our rainbow baby. So just being here with him has taught me to slow down. It's grant
Yeah.
me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I'm
God is
sure.
definitely working that out. And then he's teaching me that I can't respond to things the way that I used to. You know,
Yeah.
like having a baby, it's no longer about you. It's no longer
Right.
about what you want to do and how you want to do it and when you want to do it. Like this little
Mm-hmm.
guy is literally all about him. So yeah.
So I know you said that you're not on the red carpet as much as you used to be, but balancing a demanding career with motherhood is not easy at all.
Mm-mm.
How do you navigate, the challenges of being a new mom and working?
Yeah, I think that I was doing a pretty good job before I had a kid because I had to learn how to say no. You know, I
Mhm.
feel like when something is for you, it'll come around again. So learning to
Yeah.
say no and being okay with not being invited. But I will say that it all depends on your definition of balance and it also depends on your definition of grace. For me, at first I was okay with being a stay-at-home mom and not doing anything. But now that he's getting older, I'm like, okay, I need to get back out there. But you
Mm-hmm.
gotta have, I think that you gotta have a good support system. I think that
Oh,
you have to make
definitely.
sure that you want kids. You have to make sure that you plan to have kids and not plan to have sex. That's a big difference. My husband would tell you that, and that's where I get it from. Like people plan to have sex, they don't plan to have kids. Because
You're
this little
dropping gems,
guy,
y'all.
right? So people need to understand that this is a whole different thing. I think that it is possible to have a fulfilling career and still be a mom. It just depends on what you're going to settle for and what you're going to allow. For me, I'm just choosing to say no to certain things and I'm not settling. If it takes me away from him, if it takes me away from, my family, my life that I have going on, then it's I don't think that it's meant for me. It could be meant for me in
Hmm.
that moment, but is it gonna like fulfill me in the long run?
What advice would you give to like other moms who are trying to balance it all? Like, how do you do it?
Honestly, that is something that I'm trying to figure out. So trying to balance life and career, um, it can be challenging. It can. When it comes to like balancing motherhood and balancing your career, you have to
Mm-hmm.
give yourself grace and you have to understand what you can and cannot do. I'm also a
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding mom. So there's certain times that I have to go and pump and I'm not waiting on you. Like I gotta go do it now. You know what I mean? Like your body will let you know stuff. So it just honestly it depends on what you're gonna settle for and what is your definition of grace. Like I'm learning to give myself a whole lot of grace because especially when he was first born, he literally depended on me. His dad
Mm-hmm.
can't produce milk for him. You know what I mean? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
he works. I'm a stay at home mom, so you just got to learn how to give yourself grace. Like, I think that when they're new like this and they're not even one, it's okay to just be full time with them. But I get
Mm-hmm.
that people want to have, funds and, means of doing stuff, but it also depends on what you want. I can't define that for you. So whatever you want, you have to pray to God give you the grace and patience and understanding and the wisdom to get it.
Right. You're a businesswoman, a mother, and a wife. Like, how has this shaped or affected your career? I know you said that you're not on the red carpet anymore. You're not doing
Honestly,
as much as you used to.
I think that when we first got married, it was it was it was difficult because I was so used to running, trying to be here and trying to be there. I was working with a particular client and my husband, he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this for you because you're literally jumping in your sleep. You're having like mental anxiety. You're having panic attacks. Like, no, we're not doing this. So even though that client may seem like a dream client, but if it interferes with home, then I gotta let it go. Because at
Right.
the end of the day, y'all could go and live y'all life. I live with this
Mm-hmm.
man. I've made vows to this man. So um it can be difficult. And again, that goes back to saying no to certain things. And all money ain't good money. I'll tell you quick, and I have some previous clients that will tell you, Deidre will fire you because I don't want the headache.
I
I
know
don't
that's
want the
right.
I don't want the headache. If it's causing me to stress like that, then
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it. I don't want it. Keep your money. I will refund you. I will refund you. I have no problem.
Save
No
me the headache,
problem.
right?
Yeah, I'm not doing the headache. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for the girlies? For the girlies navigating career and, just who's ambitious and, trying to build their career and a strong family. What advice do you have for them?
Well, be realistic, of course, and then don't be afraid to do the work. I think that now, I don't know if it's this generation, but they've become so lazy but so entitled, and I don't understand how those two coexist. Like, how are you this lazy
Mm-hmm.
but you feel like you deserve this? Get your feet wet. When I first started in
Mm-hmm.
PR, I wasn't making thousands of dollars. I was shadowing and volunteering and interning wherever I could, just so people can know who I am, just so I can meet certain people. I remember working at a hotel and still being a publicist. Like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
remember those times. So just don't be afraid to get your feet wet. If you feel like it's a good opportunity, it may not pay, but it may be a good opportunity that can give you, the change of a lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be consistent. Whatever you do, just stay consistent with it. And especially in PR, I think when you're starting out, figure out what you're passionate about and just stay in that lane. Because if you all over the place, you come across very
Mm-hmm.
chaotic, and people don't tend to hire chaos.
Right, exactly. You've accomplished so much already, from launching MayLee Media to creating It's Just PR, your other website that you have. What's next for you?
Honestly, it's this little boy. I'm really just trying to focus on being a good mom. And then also, I do want to continue educating people on PR. So,
Mm-hmm.
last year I spoke at like 3 different universities. So, I do want to continue doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly this little guy has been my main focus, and just educating people on PR, because what I don't want to do is end up having the industry die, and people don't understand like what's the reality of it, right? And I do want to continue consulting people, because I mean, we're living in a time where jobs are scarce,
Yeah.
things are happening, and people can't really afford for PR. People can't afford
Right.
like a six-figure campaign. So I do want to educate people on the next steps to take. I do want to educate people on how to do it themselves, and what resources there are out there, and how to connect and build relationship with journalists, and how to connect and build relationships with entrepreneurs. I'm sorry, he's
That's
sleeping.
that that's amazing that you're doing that. Are there any upcoming projects? We're gonna close out a little bit in a minute. In 1 second, buddy. Are there any upcoming projects, collaborations, or events that you're excited about doing right
Not necessarily. I do have some ideas that I'm trying to launch by the end of the year. But just continue to follow me and stay tuned and join my mailing list, and you'll be the first to know.
now? Okay, that's what I was gonna ask too. What major goals are you currently working on?
Yeah, so I'm really trying to basically create a lane of wives and mothers, and career women. I'm trying to find basically a platform to where we can support each other, because what I find out, especially in this year, a lot of women are lost. A lot of women feel hopeless. A lot of people are just, they need support, and I want to be able to be
Mm-hmm.
that resource for them.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's awesome that you have that in mind to help other women, because
Yeah,
like you say, a lot of people are lost and don't know, and they just need guidance or someone, a mentor or someone that can help them.
yeah.
Finally, what's a piece of advice you would leave for our listeners, um, especially women who are looking to break into the PR field?
Like I said, I definitely want them to get their feet wet. You know, don't be afraid to shadow. Don't be afraid to help others on your way up. Definitely don't be afraid to turn down an opportunity just because it isn't paid. Okay. Then also, I think I didn't say this earlier, but being nice or being kind, it's not a weak thing, right? I don't think you
Right.
have to be mean to be successful. You don't have to be this turn off snobbish little girl to think
Mm.
that. To me, that's not boss. To be snobby and
Mm-hmm.
stuck up, that's not cute. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people like me because I'm a country girl, you know, I like to laugh, you know, I
I'm a
don't
country
mind.
girl too.
Yeah, I don't mind complimenting other women. You know, I'm kind. I think just be yourself. You don't have to pretend that you're somebody else in order to win at life. And I had a
Exactly.
hard time trying to figure that out because I wasn't used to meeting people. As an athlete, people automatically know you, right? You don't have to necessarily
Right.
go out and introduce yourself. And those are one of the things that I was trying to cultivate because I didn't know how to go out and say, hey, my name is this. I was just being myself, which is goofy and just being a country girl. And people can gravitate to that. They can respect you better than coming off with some fluff or some made up image of you. Right. And then also
Right.
just be honest about what you can and cannot do. Especially in PR. I think that a lot of times, especially up and coming publicists, they under deliver and over promise. And that's
Mm-hmm.
never a good thing. So just be honest about what you
Mm-hmm.
can and cannot do. I tell my clients all the time, I can do crisis communication. I don't want to. So stay out of trouble.
Right.
Because I'm not about to. That's gonna be an extra fee, and you're not gonna like me, and I'm not gonna like you.
Right.
So yeah.
So thank you so much, Deidre. It's been a blessing talking to you. You gave us a lot of gems. I know that you're a new mom, so we are gonna let you get back to being a new
Thank
mom.
you.
We are thankful that you were able to come on and just drop some gems on the girls and let them know what it takes to be in the PR industry, and give them some advice on what they need to be doing or what not to be doing, and keeping us grounded, letting us know what it takes to really be, to balance family and working. I'm sorry, to balance family and working. So thank you so much, Deidre. We have wrapped up another episode of Oh Jackiee Oh podcast. Is there anything that you would like? I know you say you're not on social media, right? You don't have any.
I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter, but not on Instagram and Facebook. So you can follow me on all those platforms at Deidre Gaskin, or you can just go to my website, mostvaluablepublicist.com.
Mostvaluablepublicist.com. That's our
Yes.
website, y'all. If you're still taking clients.
Mm-hmm.
She's still taking clients as well. So make sure you all go check her out. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Oh Jackiee Oh podcast. I am your host, Jackiee Oh. Have a good one, Deidre.
Bye, guys.